Good night and welcome to another episode of NDP Night Talks, where we discuss the issues facing the Vincentian public and we hear from NDP candidates exactly what the plan of the NDP is to rectify these problems. I'm super excited about our program this evening because we have a first-timer and someone who has been here a few times with us before. Just before I introduce our guest, just reminding you that you can share your questions and also share your comments on the live feed, and remember to share the live feed as well. So I want to go ahead and introduce our guest this evening. We have Senator Chevron John representing North Windward. It's a total Windward takeover tonight. And we also have Israel Bruce representing South Central Windward. Good night, welcome. It's your first time, and welcome back, Bruce. I want to give you both the opportunity to say good night to our viewers.
Thank you very much, Daniel, and it's a pleasure being here on NDP Night Talk. Chevron John representing North Windward as caretaker for the New Democratic Party, and it's always my pleasure airing the issues of the people of North Windward and telling the Vincentian public and also those who are listening overseas how we are going to address these issues to ensure that our people are better off in the future. Senator, good to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Daniel, and it's a pleasure, as per normal, to use every opportunity to advance the positions of the New Democratic Party of St. Vincent and Grenadines as the government in waiting. I have had several opportunities to sit next to my esteemed colleagues in Parliament, and ever so often we exchange ideas as we sit in close proximity to each other. For the first time we're sharing this program, and I am sure that equally we will share ideas, bounce ideas of each other as we go through tonight's program. The people of South Central Windward, those of you who are listening, tonight we plan to have again an engaging conversation. Send your questions and send your ideas, and of course we hope to have a pretty rocking time for the next few minutes that we have here.
So I want us to get straight into the issues because that's what we're here to talk about. I have a running joke with my friends when I'm driving through areas that the NDP has consecutively won. And I would say, boy, you see what has happened in the areas where you're voting for NDP? And we would laugh about it because you're driving into potholes, you're not seeing much development. But what I am growing to understand is that it's not much different in any constituency, no matter who you voted for, no matter who's won. And I just want to hear from you both what it's like currently in your constituency.
Daniel, as you said, it is not only in the constituencies that are controlled by the NDP, it's an island-wide. For 23 years, the ULP controlled the windward side of the island. If you look on the map, it's totally red, from North Windward to South Windward. And the problems are there. Development is lacking in many areas. You know that the windward side of the island is mainly for agriculture. And now we have a lot of tourists coming into St. Vincent. We know that the Windward can be marketed as one of the major tourism sites out there because we have a lot to offer, ecotourism, heritage tourism, but it is not happening. The government lacks a futuristic vision for the people of North Windward, and it is sad. And I'm hoping that this time around, the people of North Windward will really wake up to the reality that this is what is hitting us and we need to get rid of this government.
Well, I can't help but recognize, Daniel, that you've asked the most important question. It is true that my senatorial colleague said that the Windward Corridor is within the grasp of the Unity Labour Party for many years now. North Windward, North Central Windward, South Central Windward, South Windward, and extending into East St. George. the question that has to be asked and answered by my colleagues in the South Central Middle constituency is this, pure and simple. Has life improved for you over the last 20 odd years? If you answer that question and your life has really improved, and I'm looking you square in your eyes, my friends, my brothers, my sisters, if your life has really seen significant improvement over the last 20 years in this country, then continue to do what you're doing. If it has not, which we all know that it has not, you have a duty to go to the polls and make that change and support the new Democratic Party.
And, you mentioned something very important, Chevron. You talked about tourism and opportunities. What would you say is the leading problem faced by the young people, in particular, in your community?
Well, we know the main issue faced by young people is the lack of opportunity to employ themselves, and whether it be self-employment or employment provided by both the government and the private sector. Now, we know for sure that government will not give you 100% employment. But if you provide the way, if you give the young people the opportunities, if you ensure that the skills that are taught are aligned to the jobs that persons will be meaningfully employed. In North Windward, employment problem is huge. Too many of our young men and women, it is heartbreaking because you have single mothers who have to take care of their children, don't have a job. Again, we go back to what is called the dependency syndrome. And I think that, the present government is not addressing that issue. And that is why I love the NDP, because the principles that we are pushing out there and the pillars on which we are building is on tourism, which is going to create employment, agriculture, which is going to create employment, the blue and the new economy, which are going to create employment for our people. So anywhere you turn, because we are developing those pillars, I know we will cut unemployment by at least half of what it is now.
Wow. And Bruce?
Well, we need not repeat the virtual facts. The fact is that for too long, too many young people across this country are unemployed. Either they are unemployed or they are underemployed. And it takes the passage of Hurricane Beryl to send a message to us that the best response system that this government has for employment creation is temporary employment. You hear these songs and dance. Oh, what people in the Grenadines to work. People you're needed in the Grenadines to work. Pack up and let's go to the Grenadines to work. For what? Temporary employment. That is not the resolution to the problem that our young people are facing. I have asked in the nation's parliament in the past of the Minister of Finance whether or not this administration is prepared to deal with the issue of the capitalization of a development bank for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A development bank, by its very concept and nature, is a financial institution whose raison d'etre is not driven by profit earning, not by profiteering, but it is underpinned by developmental goals. So that when I asked that question, it had a deeper rooted consciousness in it, whether or not this government, this Minister of Finance, this Prime Minister, the parliamentary representative for South Central Windward and North Windward, whether or not they recognize that capitalizing the development bank would open up countless opportunities for young, aspiring businessmen and women in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The moment the answer that you get for that is no, it should send a clear message to the young people in South Central Windward that the Unity Labour Party that Camilo Gonzalez, that Ralph Gonzalez, that Sabuto Caesar has no interest, nor does Montgomery Daniel. They have no interest in advancing the cause of the young people in this country. And so to the young people of South Central Woodward, your best opportunity, clearly, is with the vision of the New Democratic Party to create that platform, create the opportunities that you can not just simply hear the words that you should soar with wings as eagles, but must live that reality. NDP teaches the philosophy. Teach the youth to fish. Whenever they need fish, they can fish for themselves. The ULP policy is, and philosophy is, when you want fish, come and beg us. We would give you fish. So when you're hungry, we determine when you're fed. Make a choice.
And Bruce, this is what young people are really looking forward to. It is something that, because our young people, I know for sure in North Windward, we are not accustomed to go and beg,
That's right.
Begging
That's right.
is not in our vocabulary at all. And over the past 23 years, it has just become a part of the people. And I know they feel ashamed in doing that, if they can get that opportunity. And that is why when you see the temporary employment of let's say the road walk and those things, they are happy to go because they are not accustomed to begging. And that is all there is. So they look forward to going out and doing that little 10 days, and if you give them 8 days, they wonder, what can 8 days really do for me? So I know that the New Democratic Party, we are ready to govern St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
If I'm allowed to pivot a bit,
Sure.
Danny, because one of the questions you ask is, what really is happening? What is the state of affairs in the respective constituencies? So we have droves of unemployed young people, both in North Windward and in South Central Windward. We have too many young men and young women being seen on the blocks day in and day out in both constituencies. Not that they don't wish to become meaningfully employed and gainfully employed, but they don't have the option of so doing. Those represent the reality. If you start in North Windward and walk your way down to South Central Windward, you would see vast expanses of arable lands. And I say, these days, I don't want to call him the Minister of Agriculture. I don't want to call him the Minister of Grass or the Minister of Bush. Because we hitherto saw great production, arrowroot, bananas, plantains, potatoes, you name it, throughout the two constituencies. I invite any Vincentian to take a very nice scenic drive from North Windward down, and you'll see how much of our lands are laid bare with nothing. Productivity in the agricultural sector is at an all-time low. And as Senator John said, they are both agriculturally driven communities. Though, in some regards, part of North Windward also could thrive on the fisheries industry. That too has been made a mockery by this government. A fishing center was put down in Ovia. What do we have for productivity's sake? For crying out loud, shield. People must recognize that these things must be addressed. The tourism sector has great possibilities and potentials in both constituencies. I tell young people of Greg's, look, we can drive our way all the way up to Tiburon Mountain, yes, and head down into pavement. Pavement offers endless opportunities. Senator John was there with me, right? And I've already had discussions with people in the tourism industry in the region about the possibilities of cable cars going down from the top of that mountain up there down into pavement. I've spoken to local aspiring businessmen who talk about setting up and construction of cabanas made from the rosewood, the nature nurture tourist that Sister Shemons talks about, the river, everything would blend into one. Security officers, cleaners, cooks, all kind of employment opportunities right there in that one little square. But it is built into something else, because I've also had discussions with the people in Grants about the construction of an indigenous village. That park that we currently use as the Great Plainfield, that the vision is to turn that. If you go to Greg's during National Heroes Day, you see what that transforms into? That would be a year-long facility, looking at that all year. So it will be a new tourist attraction. You come, you get your madongo bread, your madongo dumpling, you get your ginger wine, your potatoes, your ganja wine. What do you think about? You come up to Greg's, and it becomes the mecca of a special type of tourism. We have not begun to touch the very base of the possibilities that are available in both Willmott constituencies. And Sharon John is committed, I am committed, Chieftain is committed, Andrew John. They're not here, but we are responsible for the Willmott corridor. And whilst we're here tonight, we carry the entire Willmott corridor. We are ready to move with our young people and to give St. Vincent a jolt into some livelihood, give the economy some impetus, and bring some hopes and aspiration back to the people of this country.
And before you go, I just want to add to
Sure.
this because I'm looking at his excitement.
That's what I'm looking at as well.
Tourism up in
Yeah.
and making Carib Village. Come on, you're and, coming from north. Laugh with mommy, you know, good morning. She's talking and I'm saying this is ingrained in us,
Yeah.
and our children can learn these things if we only open up the opportunities for them. And you can only do it when you have the passion for such a thing. If it's just okay, I'm minister and I'm doing it for doing its sake, it will never last. But these are things that we want to bring to the people so that they can feel we're special people. Come on, an Indigenous Day. We'll call for that too.
And, listening to both of you speak about these things, and, I am hearing you, Bruce, and as you're speaking, I'm seeing the cable car. I'm in it. I am thinking of all these opportunities that you are speaking about, and you're so passionate. And I'm wondering, we've had a government there for how long? Yeah. And what has really been happening? Because if we can sit here and discuss these ideas, and we see someone with so much passion, both of you speaking about these ideas, how important is it for someone who's leading a constituency to genuinely care and genuinely want to see advancements?
Let us be clear on this. If this program closes tonight without one point of clarity, there must be a single point of clarity that the Unity Labour Party does not care about the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The representatives of ULP care about themselves. And I make no bones about that. I don't want to put any curry in that. I don't want to put any cayenne pepper in it. I want to just have the onion and the garlic. Yeah? So
Plain
that
and
the people
simple.
who are under pressure, that's what pressure people put in the food. The people who are under pressure in this country must come to that realization. My friend, let me tell you something. I want this country to recall that leading up to the elections in 2000, the then Unity Labour Party said that they will bring bananas back to the glory days. They've given a commitment that the government in England then was going to support ULP to help them bring back banana and the banana industry. When Gonzalo and ULP took office, I want people to remember, do not ever forget, because that's one of the things they said about us, why we're not making the correction to our mistakes. They established a banana salvation committee. And that committee was headed by one Mr. Cecil Ryan. 20 odd years later, the banana industry has not seen the salvation. You know why? Because farmers controlled their destiny. You remember the comments about farmers coming to Kingston and who buy new pickup and who had 2 and 3 women and who would buy bears and chow bears and all of that. Because there was that attitude and perception of our farmers. They've reduced outstanding farmers to celebrated security guards who have to leave their wife and children at home and put a wooden baton in their pocket and come to Kingston. That is what we've experienced under the Unity Labour Party. What we are seeing in the New Democratic Party. It doesn't have to take us back to bananas. But we must use, for example, the soft foods that are available across this country and get involved in the mechanization, set up pulping plants and juicing plants, and allow the farmers to get proper access to market. Create for them employment possibilities within the agricultural sector. Because you also, Senator John, she's right. That NDP speaks very clearly about the pillars of the economic development that we aspire for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is all encompassing, so that the artisans will find themselves under the orange economy. The farmers in Greggs and Lauders and Lomans and Chapmans and Diamonds and Mongan and Santos in the Grums, McCracken, North and South Union, they will experience. The farmers in Orange Hill and Overland and Magog, Fancy and Sandyby, in Petty Bedell, and in Westwood, Bayamo and Prospect and Summit and so on, will come to the realization that the organization, the political organization in this country that has farmers, fisher folks, women, youth, girls, deeply entrenched in our heart is the New Democratic Party. And that is what we want to do for our people.
And, you mentioned the farmers. Obviously, we experienced a volcanic eruption, and I can attest to the kind of vegetation. I mean, everything is twice the size. And I mean, if you're talking about fertile land, what areas are you talking about? I mean, the windward, the leeward side.
You're looking at both.
Exactly.
Right.
Both windward and
Exactly.
leeward, because that's where it is. And after the volcanic eruption, farmers struggle, and they continue to struggle because the help is not given to them. If you have a problem and I just say, here, take this, solve your own problem, but I don't come and assist you and tell you how to read it. If I'm giving you something to read, and I walk you through, you won't be able to help yourself because you are already struggling. It's the same thing that has happened to the farmers. This government said, okay, we're giving you $500. For a farmer that has 10 acres of land, $500 to walk that land. Can you imagine that?
Senator John, I don't want to cut your thought process, but speak to the farmer who has 10 acres of land, but also has 6 children and a wife at home.
Definitely so.
You must decide, where do I employ this $500? The immediate needs of my hungry children and family, or back into the last? But it is clear, these guys, they make a sham, and a sham is what it is. I believe that the ULP as a political party is best in the entertainment industry.
And I agree with you, because when you look at reality, these people are not facing reality. I guess they're getting the cream of the crop. And because they are enjoying the cream of the crop, others cannot enjoy it. And I know for sure the farmers in North Windward, they're feeling the pressure. They're accustomed to cutting their plantains every week, getting $500, $600 for their plantains. It is not happening now. And you're coming to tell the farmer, we can only give you $600 for a month. A farmer who would receive $600 or more at the end of each week for plantains only. And remember, most farmers, they don't monocrop.
They do intercropping.
You're right. That cannot feed a family, especially with the high cost of living that we have in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You go to the supermarket because out of that, you have to send your children to school. So let's say you go to the supermarket with $300.
Buy what?
What can you buy with that? Because $300 out of the $600 is to send your child to school, or if you have children. And remember, even if it's at the primary school level, you have to give that child probably $5 for break and more for lunch.
And then there'll be no electricity for them to come home and go home. No. It's
reality. It's reality.
That's $500. That's why I asked the question. What percentage of that is available to go back into any lands for production? See, it is not going to happen, and it is the impracticality of these guys in government that we're talking about. And part of the problem is this. The people in government, the ministers within the Unity Labour Party administration, Samuto Caesar, who is a lawyer by training, becomes the Minister of Agriculture. And within the ministry, nobody could tell him what and how things should be done. Automatically, he is an expert on agriculture. We say that there has to be a different way. Let the professionals manage the ministries professionally.
Yes.
And all I am tasked with doing is being a policy director. So I drive government policies and ensure from the permanent secretary right down to the janitor in my ministry understands policy direction-wise, where are we going, and how does your job as a janitor help us to achieve that policy? Up to how your job as the permanent secretary in ministry help to achieve that policy. I don't become the chief agricultural officer when I become Minister of Agriculture today or tomorrow. That is something that has to happen differently. I want to say to public servants again, and look straight to the cameras, that a new Democratic Party government will ensure that public servants are given a free opportunity to help to hone their skills and to put their expertise and training to work so that all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, remember this constituency supporting NDP, all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will have the best benefit because we are an all-inclusive party. And that's why we keep saying there's enough space under the tent for everyone.
Yes. And then that's why I was, while Bruce was talking there, I'm saying the new Democratic Party will take that bottom-up approach.
That's right.
Because we believe in people.
That's right.
And it's not only talk. We believe that to represent people, you must know your people. You must know their cry. And that is where the policies of the NDP come about. We have been walking this ground since, we have entered this political, some of us since before, because I was a teacher and I interacted with many persons within my constituency, not knowing that I was going to enter into politics, right? But I did my task and I did it well. And coming into politics, I am getting to know the people. I'm getting to know even more what are the issues. So when I come to speak, I know what I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about the single mother who can't feed their child. And not only because some people say, they have their priorities wrong. But not that they have priorities whatsoever. It's there, but they cannot handle it because cost of living is so high. They are not working. They have to depend on someone. And it is hard for them to get up on mornings to know, where is my next meal coming from? How am I going to send my child to school? I don't have $1 to give them to buy bread. It is heartbreaking. And you only know that when you go on the ground, when you sit with the people. I tell people, before I used to pitch marble, so I know my people. So I interacted from way back and that's why, when you come into representative politics, you can better represent people. And my senator friend will know about.
I thought that I was the only one who had the days of pitching.
Listen, we're gonna have the two of you a marble match. Please write that down on one of the next programs. We'd have that for you guys.
I want to come in to compliment again something that my senatorial colleague has said. And without hitting it at the nerve center, Senator John addresses the issue of marketing opportunities for the agricultural communities that we have an interest in and that we have worked hard in. The farmers in this country, the farmers in North Windward, the farmers in North Central, South Central, and South Windward are faced with a multiplicity of problems. One has to do with the infrastructure, roads. I know you started your question tonight.
Yes.
Whether or not the constituency.
Because I'm telling you.
That's right.
It doesn't matter the constituency.
But that is true because North Windward is ULP, North Central is ULP, South Central is ULP, South Windward is ULP. So
for now.
all four.
For now.
But the point is this. So there's a lacking in infrastructure to support the efforts of our farmers, and that cannot be questioned. The farmers are working their behinds off, but guess what? They are faced with a multiple sets of problems. Prior to their harvesting their own produce, they have to deal with perennial loss.
Yes.
This government has demonstrated that it has not a single clue how to assist the farmers. I want people to understand the point that I'm making. They don't have a clue and they don't have an interest in addressing the concern of farmers who are losing their produce day by day, night by night. And then, for the farmers who have to come to the day of harvest, when it comes to the price that they get in the marketplace,
Ridiculous.
it is as, let me say like country people, it's been as cheap then I don't know. So the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in the Ministry of Agriculture, under Samuto Caesar and Ralph and Camille, they have not demonstrated that they're willing to support our farmers in that regard. And I want to say that we have given a commitment in this New Democratic Party that one, that we are going to unleash a 5-pronged attack on perennial loss.
Yes.
So how we will combat that problem immediately. And tonight is not sufficient time to deal with it all in flesh, but we're talking about quicker judicial system, stricter policing, the utilization of technology, and other support mechanisms. And of course, I said, and we've been committed to this from day one, the Department of Trade
Bluetooth mode.
has to close their doors on me because I'd be there knocking from day one. How do we infiltrate the regional markets and ensure that Vincentian produce are getting? People must not forget, that in Dashin vacuum plant was built right in Lawrence.
We had a cassava plant in Orange Hill.
But guess what?
Not operating.
We have not sold a single pound of vacuum Dashin from that plant. You must take a drive to Lawrence, you and my good cameraman, and just run the camera around the place, and you'll see what you have there.
Right.
If you don't go into tears, it means you don't love the people of this country. You have to see it. I don't want people to say that I'm exaggerating. The point is simply this, that this government is satisfied with handing out that $500.
Yes.
All you need more, come for another $500. You see who have volume? Can we give all the $500? We say that should back to the plan on the NDP provided. Markets for your farmers, NDP provided. Better road facilities provided. Support against or joining the fight against perennial larceny, NDP. We're talking about a multi-pronged approach to ensuring that the productivity sector of agriculture, as one of the sectors, is going to thrive.
Yes. Yes. And even the roads, as Bruce mentioned, roads going to farms.
Exactly.
They have not been resurfaced in 23 odd years counting.
Yep.
Come on, you go up to some of those roads. Well, the trucker will tell you they're not going there. So the farmer has to pay to help reap if they have to, pay to bring that load, tote that load down to a road that is in good condition. And then they have to now pay the vehicle. So the farmer is left with little and nothing. And this is what this government read when they said agriculture was a thing of the past. And when they were not focusing on agriculture. Now they really meant it. They are going to kill agriculture because farmers were too independent. We want to bring back a culture where farmers become empowered, where they can send their children to school without asking for assistance, as they were doing in the days of the glory days, I would say, where they were building their own homes and building good homes that they can have that pride in. No, farmers have to wait. Farmers have to depend on government to build a one-bedroom house for them. This is not good at all. And I say to the farmers out there, we in the New Democratic Party, as my senator colleague said, we are going to ensure that you are better off because we are going to ensure that you have value for your product, your market is ready, and you have the necessary inputs at reasonable prices so that you can go and cultivate and ensure that your production cost is low so that when you get the sale for your produce, you make a better profit.
You know, there's some spin doctors out there, you know. I know there's some spin doctors out there. And I know you said, Senator John, that that farmers won't have to come to beg government to help to send their children, let's say, to university. I wanted to be clear. An NDP government will still support
Of course.
parents who are struggling to get their children to university.
Yes.
Not everybody will come to the same place at the same time.
Right.
But what Senator John is saying, that we will create that environment where we reduce the extent where people have to beg to survive.
Of course.
You need a drain done, you have to beg government. You need some 5 children to organize on the roof, you have to beg government. You need to send the children to primary school, you have to beg government. You need to help the child go to college, you beg government.
Beg government.
And that is what they want to do. They want you to beg them all the time and then tell you, remember everything you needed, who gave it to you.
Yes.
We are saying we want to put an opportunity, to create an opportunity for you so that you can help yourself and your children. And when it becomes difficult, Senator John and I, well, Minister John and I, in government then, will be assisting you to patch the pieces that you can't get to take you over the weekend.
Of course. That's very clear, and I thank you for making sure that you clear that path. Because obviously government is there to assist with education, yes, but it's not to ensure that you depend wholly on them.
Right. And as you guys were having that discussion, I couldn't help but remember my last visit to Oya. I'm so happy that there was the cricket. It was a cricket tournament that took place. I went to the finals in Oya, right? And everybody was saying, trying to figure out, is that St. Lucia that we can see from here looking over? And I have not been to Oya in a very long time, so forgive me. I was literally in awe. It was just so beautiful to see that St. Lucia is literally a stone throw away. So one would have to think, what sort of development is taking place in that area where you can perhaps have boats going between St. Vincent, St. Lucia? I mean, it can literally become perhaps an access point or something of the sort. It's something that perhaps we can look into in order to upgrade our tourism product. Has there been anything that has happened over the past
I am 20-something
years?
Vocabulary of any government, of this government for the 23 years. And as I said earlier, Oya, fancy, Sandy Bay,
and beautiful.
Beautiful. Below the river, when you come to Bay Road, Landy Park, beautiful, very good sites for development of tourism, heritage tourism, ecotourism. If you come to the Oya waterfalls, you get 10 years younger. But the development is not there. The road leading to that waterfall is in a deplorable state. There is no, and I mean, people are visiting there, and there is no one in the ministry that can say, well, let's put a washroom facility there, even if it's temporary for the people there. You're just going, and there is no development. But people are enjoying it, and I'm encouraging people to come and visit. You'll get the reward that you're going there for. Yes. When you look at that access point, very easy. But we know, again, we have to grapple with the rough waters times.
Of course.
But that can be a tourist exchange as well. Because you can look at when you have the calm waters, and then you can organize tours and so on to go over or come back into to Oya at that point. We have that as part of our development plan. As you know, I am looking at sports tourism. Because if I am playing cricket, obviously, I know persons from Dominica, persons from Guadeloupe called me asking me about the softball cricket because they're seeing it and they're willing to come, and I'm ready for when we get into government to really make this thing bigger and better. People will speak about it, and it must have an impact because, I love doing it because of the economic spill-off. When you have the cricket on weekends, The little ice boxes are there. You know, people are ready to come and make their madongo. People are ready to come make their kalulu soup. You know, and even though they may not get all, it's a sell-off, the little income, it may be $20, $40, $50, they're still grateful for it because they can get it to send their children to school. And that's what I love to see. I love to see that. You are empowered. You know, you come out. So economic development, talent is being shown from our youth. And, you know, I use local men in terms of villagers to umpire these games. And they feel that, yes, we are doing something. So there's an opportunity for them to excel themselves as they get into these games. Northwind, what is the place to be under New Democratic Party government?
I can't help but share some of those very important sentiments because I spent quite a few years of my life delivering softball tournament in Lauders, in Greg's, across South Central. And Senator Dunn, you're absolutely right. When I go to sit down with prospective sponsors to talk about the impact of these tournaments, one of the things that people ask you, what bang do we get for our buck?
Yes.
And I say, look, this is what you don't need to see. 20 teams of 20 young men participating. We're talking 400 people right there. Then that's not the end of it. Think about the man who comes with his corn and callaloo, the woman who comes with a tray with peanuts, the other one with the popsicles,
yes,
one with the oranges, the other one who is roasting some chicken on the side.
Yes.
We are driving the local economy in ways that are not perceived. And I'm glad that you said, so that the listening public can hear us, that when you see us from morning to evening doing these things, it's not because Siobhan or Israel getting extra money in the pocket. It's because we have a joy in seeing that the people around us get an opportunity to at least lift themselves up a little, and little by little by little, to make their lives better. It's a very important point that you made, and it must not be taken lightly because it comes from the belly of a philosophy of the New Democratic Party. We have come to the Democratic Party, but this is inside of us.
Yes.
We have an interest in seeing the people around us. I remember when I was president of the NYC, you know, I said to business people in this country to contribute towards the delivery of the programs of the NYC. And I said, look, people, if you don't do this, 20, 30 years from now, you'll have to spend so much money paying security guards and barricading your places. It has come to pass. Because they couldn't see where the investment was going to go, where you enhance the ability and the skill set of our young people and put them within the positive frame as opposed to putting them in a direction where they turn to crime and criminality. And I am happy to be part of a political party with people like you, because it comes from inside here that we want to see better for our people. And people must not forget, you know, Siobhan, one of the things I've always kept in my mind deep is when you were asked about leaving your job to go to work from the teaching to politics, and you said, yes, I'm leaving a bigger salary, but it's not the money, it's about the people. That's where we are.
Definitely.
And that's where I am. And we all understand that a New Democratic Party is going to look out for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, not how much money can go into individual pockets. That is the stark difference between the ULP and the NDP.
And I just want us to take a quick pause so that we can acknowledge some of our viewers. I want to say good night to Winston. We have Tanya online. We have Felix. Nigel is watching. We have Brian Lennox. Remember to like and share the live. We have Pascal, Margot. We have quite a number of persons online. So we just want to say thank you for watching. And as we're talking about, you know, genuinely wanting to see these things change for the people, I want us to touch on what healthcare is like for persons living on that side on the windward side of the island. The clinics. You both are looking at me like you're ready to go. So just go ahead, because I can see it deep in you guys. Please tell us what's going on with healthcare on the Windward side.
My problem with healthcare and for North Windward is that I will definitely like to see a poly center in North Windward and a doctor living among the people, one who can understand the people. And you know what is happening now is that we have a lot of Cuban doctors.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that they're not good. They're very good doctors. But the language barrier between the doctors and the locals, it is a problem there. And I'm always calling for something to be done. Because you go to the health center on a Monday or a Tuesday, where the doctor is attending different days in different villages. And we know our local patois, especially from the elderly people. So they go to the doctor, but the doctor cannot understand that. And then we may have nurses there who don't know the Spanish language, so they cannot transfer or translate that to the doctor. And there you see a very big problem that we have there. You go to the people and you say, what about healthcare? And they will tell you, you go to the doctor, all you get in is paracetamol, you know for sure you're coming out there, and some antibiotics. And you not get, sometimes you don't get it, you have to go and buy it. Okay? Apart from that, where we are living in these remote areas, we need an proper ambulance service. So you're in Fancy, and there are times when there is a sick, the ambulance that is there has to service the modern medical, and it cannot reach to Fancy. You know the problem with transportation coming out of Fancy. So that person cannot get access to a transportation at the time, you know what is going to happen to them. And even though you can get access to transportation, the cost that the family has to incur, because that you may have to take a private transport, hire somebody. If it's not your friend, you have to pay them. And they may not have the money at the time. So these are some of the main problems that are hampering and hindering progress in healthcare in North Windward. Now, recently, the government said that they're buying the minister's house in Sandy Bay for a clinic, all right? The land was acquired. I know people are living there on the lands now because houses were built through funds granted. But the minister is still living in the house, so I don't know what took place, if there is some arrangement, or when that will be sorted out, because it was announced, Senator, that we are building, or the minister is giving up his lands for the people, and we are buying the house of the minister to serve as a clinic. And the lands people have been given houses there, but the minister is still living. So we have not had an explanation. And now that we are on the topic of healthcare, where it is very important, I am sure that...
To make a good announcement that the minister, the parliamentary representative is living at the clinic.
The parliamentary representative, yes.
Yeah, he's living at the clinic.
But I'll give Bruce a chance to talk about South Windward.
Oh, Lord. Well, I'll say this. For us in South Central, facilities happens to be the big problem. The Doreen John Health Facility in Greggs went from being a beautiful facility into a state of absolute dilapidation.
Wow.
I spoke about this on so many occasions in and out of Parliament until finally, some semblance of shame has come onto the Unity Labour Party, and they've started to do some work on it. In the very last sitting of Parliament, I asked a question. How soon do you plan to complete the renovation works? Because the people from Greggs who have to go to the clinic for service don't have to get as far as Mesopotamia to get health care. Yes, that's where they have to go to get the services that they need. The clinic at Lomans Windward, the roofing went into dilapidation that the nurse who is supposed to sleep at that clinic refused to stay there. And I raised that issue time and time again because it's not just the issue that there is no sleeping nurse. That issue is more compounded than it is on the surface. So that if someone from Hadley's Village or Lauders, Higher Lomans or Lower Lomans was to take ill, at least if there's a sleeping nurse, they can go to that facility and get the intermediary care that is needed. And if needs be, she can then recommend that they be taken further along the health chain to get more complex health service. So that remains a problem. Diamond, the roof for the clinic in Diamonds leaks like crazy. Again, I had to bring that into the parliament in the form of a question and ask, you mean to tell me that the people of Diamonds supported Sabuto Caesar so much and the clinic right in Diamonds cannot be one of the better clinics in the constituency? The people from New Grounds and Chapman's and New Adelphi have to walk all the way to Diamonds to get health care. I asked since 2016, would you look to see if you get a small parcel of land right in the New Grounds area, in the New Adelphi area, so that it could service the people of Chapman's, New Adelphi, Upper New Grounds, that area? No, zilch, nothing. So when it comes to facilities, the constituency of South Central Windward is suffering significantly. And once there's a lack in proper facilities, it means that the people are challenged in that regard. Look, it's amazing. Too often we find people having to have barbecue here, barbecue there, and barbecue here to raise funds because their family member takes sick and they can't meet the cost. We in the New Democratic Party said that we will institutionalize a national health insurance system. And people laugh it to scorn. Let me tell you this. I'm going to give a personal story. I work in the BVI, and I have signed into the National Health Insurance Service in the BVI. And the last time I went to do a general check, my friend, my regular bill would have taken me somewhere in the region of $500 plus US. Because I am a member, paying member of the NHI. You know what my bill was? $81.
Wow.
$81. I'm saying this for the people of St. Vincent to hear what is it that we in the New Democratic Party are talking about when we talk about NHI. But it is based on a biblical principle, no? That the strong must bear the infirmities of the weak. So that those of us who are working could pay in our regular contribution to NHI. But those who don't have it as much would benefit from the overall NHI system as non-contributors just the same. This is woefully needed in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So when we talk healthcare, we're not just talking clinics for our respective constituencies. I mean, I'm sorry Andrew is not here tonight, but if you see a facility that they call a clinic in Bayabu, I don't know what
Yes.
Holy goodness.
Whoa.
I mean, if anybody from me is sick, I'm not taking them to that facility.
No.
Not doing it at all. But healthcare also has some degree of interconnectivity to housing. Because when I go to places in my constituency and see the conditions under which certain people live, it's no way they could be healthy. And if we say that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation, except we do sloganism, which these guys in government, look, if you ask me to give a government first prize for sloganism in the world, you will get it for second and third prize.
Yes.
What they love is sloganism.
Yes. Nothing more.
Nothing more. But we need to go beyond sloganism and put in place real flesh and blood programs to help our people. And in the area of healthcare, much needs to be done in South Central Windward.
And unfortunately,
Oh, really?
Yes,
Wow.
unfortunately,
Wow.
I know. But I really needed to get in a little bit of what healthcare is like because, as you said, the health of the nation is the wealth of the nation, and we definitely needed to have that ventilated, even if it was just a bit. So, unfortunately, I really was loving the discussion tonight. The passion that I'm getting from both of you is so refreshing. And I know that we have something exciting that is coming up in North Windward. I hear they're saying it's 10% politics, 90%
90%
vibes.
yes.
I'm hearing about games on Thursday night. I'm hearing about
Tomorrow
games.
night.
I hear about karaoke. Bruce is gonna sing a song.
Of course.
And drinks and food.
Let's get it done.
It's gonna be
Let's
on
get
sale.
it done.
You almost caught me when you started talking percentage. I think you're going to start talking about NDP's proposal to reduce the VAT.
No, I'm talking about the vibes now. We're talking vibes now.
Bonus for our people. You know, this is
We're
what
talking
having.
about the vibes now. We're talking about the vibes.
Well,
that's
NDP
happening.
has everything
Of
going on
course,
for them.
of
So we know that in government, we are going to ensure that our people are well served. We ask the servants of the people when we get into government, and we're going to serve you the best. We are going to get this thing done because you deserve better. And there is a group of people led by Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday, who is ready to lead St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We deserve better, so let's get it done.
And as you're there, please encourage them to come out on
Yes,
Thursday.
tomorrow,
Yes.
Northern World will have their 10% politics, 90% vibes at the constituency office. You can't miss that.
Yes, I know. You go
Can
ahead.
you take
Bruce.
up 3%?
Oh
of
my
that
goodness.
10%?
Bruce,
Yeah.
please give us your last.
I'm hoping that I am there to enjoy 90% of the vibes. For the people in the North Windward area who have not sat around a chessboard, maybe that's one of the things that we will try to introduce to the area. And they say, chess, what are you talking about? But that's fine. So I look forward to participating and sharing in that event tomorrow night. But I say to the people as my final contribution to tonight's program, think about what we're talking about. Yeah? Think about reduction in VAT to leave more monies in your pocket. Think about you public servants having a bonus salary at the end of the year. You people who are receiving what a social assistance or what have you, having a bonus contribution to you at the end of the year.
Don't forget the road gangs.
Of course.
Right.
Those people helping to keep us healthy.
Yes.
And I have a lot of respect for them. Yes. And we're saying that, look, all of this that we're talking about is possible. It's not pie in the sky because we recognize that we have the programs to drive the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a multi-pronged program of which the citizenship by investment program is just a little part of it.
Yes.
And under the leadership of Dr. Godwin Friday, joined with all of us, we have it within us from inside out to give you the best opportunity to advance as a race and as a people. Let's get it done.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching and being with us tonight. We're looking forward to having you with us again. Remember to be there at the North Windward constituency office tomorrow night. What time does it start?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock sharp. 7 o'clock sharp. Looking forward to seeing you there. Good night.